Have you heard the claim that Palestinian means invader? I've been seeing people online make this claim more and more recently, so let's thoroughly debunk it. The oldest written evidence of anything tied back to Palestine comes from ancient Egyptian over 3,000 years ago. The word Peleset, or sometimes Pulaseti, is referenced a handful of times in reference to invaders, probably from southern Europe. Though the Egyptians managed to fend them off, it's believed that they ended up invading the southern Levant, forming a historical people that today we call the Philistines. So that settles it, right? They were literally invaders in the Levant. Well, not so fast, because Philistine is not the same as Palestinian. The Philistines were an ancient people who lived in modern-day Palestine, but when they were conquered by the Neo-Babylonian Empire, they lost their autonomy and eventually their identity. And yet, over 100 years later, Herodotus described the region as Palestine. The Philistines didn't exist anymore, so this term wasn't an ethnic identity, it was a geographic one. It referred to the southern region of the Levant, where the Philistines used to be, from Phoenicia to Egypt. The term was now just a geographic one, which is why future empires continued to use it. The Romans, the Byzantines, the Arabs, and eventually the British. But since there was an ethnic group living in the Palestinian region for centuries, the term Palestinian also came to refer to the ethnicity. And to be clear, genetic testing has indeed proved that Palestinians are native to the land. But you might have one last objection. What about the Hebrew verb palash, which means to invade and is related to Palestine? Surely that means that Palestinian means invader, right? No, because that verb was actually a later invention. In the same way that in English we created the word vandalize, named after the Vandals who sacked Rome, in Hebrew they created the verb palash, named after the Philistines who invaded the Levant. So does Palestinian mean invader? No. The word Palestine, both in English and in Arabic, comes from Greek, modeled after a word in Egyptian related to a word in Hebrew, from which was derived the word to invade, in reference to a completely unrelated people.